So we're going to do another example where we're going to use function notation to model a scenario. Or in other words, we're giving a description of a situation and we want to translate that into function notation. And so again, a key part of this is being able to figure out, what the inputs and the outputs are. So if I look here, it says the amount of garbage, and it tells us the amount of garbage G is in tons per week, produced by a city with a population P, and P is thousands of people, and it's given by. Okay, so we're defining this function as G, tons of garbage per week, is equal to some function of P, population. All right, so it's given by. That means it's equal to F of P is equal to G. All right, so immediately I want you thinking, what's inside the parentheses? P, that's my input. So I input P and I output G, garbage. All right, so let's go here. Let me keep my color. So I input P and I output G. And so then I have here, it says that in the town of Fishkill, there's a population of 35,000 and it produces 7 tons of garbage each week. And I want to write this scenario using function notation. All right, so I want to take, this is my function notation here, F of P equals G. So I want to translate this particular scenario using function notation. So let's go back to our definition of this function up here. And I want to find, let's talk about what is the input variable. Well, like I said, the input variable is inside the parentheses. So the input variable is P, okay? And P represents the input. And then if and you don't have to make anything up here. You just need to read from the sentence. It tells us P is the population measured in thousands of people. So P represents population in thousands of people. And then if I go to the output is G, garbage, tons per week. So our output variable is G. All right, that's right up here. And the output variable in context. And when I say in context, it just means what does it mean sort of in the real world for this problem. So in context, G represents the amount of garbage produced in the city, tons per week. All right. And we were already given in function notation G equals F of P. So if we want to translate this scenario, well, first I want to say, okay, population is 35,000, but each P represents 1,000 people. And then G represents tons of garbage per week. So here's how I would write it in function notation. Okay, 35, right? This is 35,000, but each P represents 1,000. So I need to divide that by 1,000, right? I'm not going to put 35,000 inside here, right? Each P represents 1,000 in the population. So in this case, I'd need to divide by 1,000 to get, when I input 35, this 35 represents 1,000, I get an output of 7 tons of garbage each week. Input population in thousands, output tons of garbage per week. F of P equals G. That is function notation. We've just translated this.